You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Parks podcast, and this is show number 456 for Sunday the 28th of May 2023.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chum Jane Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Hello there, Jane.
Hello there, Michelle, on this lovely, bright and sunny day, and you're off for a week, yay!
I know, I am so excited to have a week of no 6:30am alarm clocks.
I think that's the best thing about getting time off, isn't it? It's not having to have the alarm go off.
It's the simple things of going to bed and not having to have that alarm and be able to wake up when my body is ready.
Definitely.
Although I will try not to overdo the late nights.
She says. Having already going to have a late night with yours truly.
Yes, as of recording today, sorry for spoiling the magic, Saturday the 27th of May, Jane and I are going to be meeting up in personage, and we will be attending our fabulous, glittericious cabaret spectacular tonight.
Yeah, a bit of a tradition now, isn't it? Every few months we get together and watch a jolly good show.
And I am bringing a friend with me this evening who has never been to anything like this.
So she may or may not be your friend at the end of it.
Well, it's a 2-hour drive home, so I'd like to hope that she would be. But it's a really quirky story because we were best friends at school many, many, many eons ago. And we literally house shared when we left school at the tender age of 16.
Wow.
And we house shared for a while and went our own diverse ways. And then she came and stayed with me for a while. And then we lost contact for quite a number of years, and a couple of years back I tracked her down via the powers of the old Facebook, and we've been seeing each other again recently, so that is a one massive plus of social media.
It does work well sometimes.
It does, so we'll be on our way down, and whilst we are chomping our way through a little garden picnic, I think we will be recording a special Patreon show for our Patreons over on patreon.com/Disney Dream Girls. And we'll have a bit of a gossip about upcoming trips and latest Disney movies. And yeah, that's quite an exciting prospect.
Yeah, it'd just be nice to have a good old chatter in person, won't it?
It will indeed. Sat in the garden, enjoying the British weather.
Because it's rather nice at the moment, so we're making the most of it. We're sitting outside whether we like it or not.
Absolutely. Even if we will be under an umbrella because it starts raining.
Fingers crossed that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and we've got a nice tenuous link to that idea in this week's upcoming podcast, because once the sunshine is out, the British people put on their shorts and plan a barbecue. And I have many a memory from having barbecues where the food is cooked in the garage because it started raining.
Yeah, and normally our barbecues over here in the UK, my memories are always of a very charred outside of a piece of meat and not feeling very confident that the inside was cooked properly.
Yeah, those sausages could literally smash a window.
Yeah, I wonder if that's why I'm not a particularly big lover of barbecue nowadays.
Could well be our childhood tainted our lives.
Maybe, yeah.
Let's get on with our Disney history, and I'm handing the mic over to Jane.
Thank you very much. And I've actually got, for a change, I've got 4 pieces, and they all relate to the day of release, which normally I'm having to find bits and pieces from either side. And these are all 4 openings. The little theme there, you see. So first one is 1960, and this saw the opening of the Mine Train Through Nature's Wonderland, opened in Frontierland at Disneyland. So this was one of those little mini train rides, and it's an improved version of the Rainbow Caverns mine train, which was one of the early openings in 1956. It went over a very large portion of Frontierland and had over 200 audio animatronic animals, which I thought was really interesting.
Impressive.
Yeah, and then 1966 going forward was one of my, as everybody will know, ultimate all-time favourite rides. It's a Small World opened at Disneyland. So obviously this had featured in the New York State Fair, but by 1966 was actually opening over in Disneyland. So I had to give that a mention because everybody knows I love It's a Small World. So I've got a tattoo now and everything, so I have to mention It's a Small World. It's a bit like whenever I see anything to do with Snow White, I have to mention it because of you. It's a Small World has the same thing for me. Wonderful. So there you go. Then, going even further forward into 1994, and we'll both like this one, this was the opening day for Disney's Wilderness Lodge. Oh. I think we can both say a resort that we both hold very dear to our hearts for lots of different reasons. The fact that it's only a mile away from the Magic Kingdom being one of them, and it's surrounded by 56 acres of oak and pine trees, and of course has an artificial geyser and hot springs. Love that place. And then 2014, that's my last piece of opening history for today. After more than 5 years of planning, the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train officially opened at the Magic Kingdom, and I still have not ridden it.
Hey, love.
And I'm going to get there soon. I promise everybody I am going to get back to Disney World really soon. And there you go. 4 openings on this day in history.
Thank you very much, Jane. So, 28th of May, I have something to sort of say and announce here. Did you know the month of May was barbecue month?
I didn't actually know.
And just as if by coincidence, season 2 of the Barbecue Showdown has appeared on my Netflix account, which I absolutely loved watching in season 1. It gets the 8 talented barbecuers from all over the US of A, and they compete in challenges each week, and then the one that doesn't do the best goes home. Quite a simple format, and I do love this type of show, whether it's regarding makeup, jewellery makers, sewing, cooking in many formats. It's a great premise because it's kind of a reality, kind of edutainment, and you get invested in the characters that you meet in the show.
I must admit, I have watched season 1. I think the only problem with the food related when you sit there, do not watch these programmes on an empty stomach. It is not good for your health.
Oh no, it makes me always want to go get some corn on the cob and a nice big piece of brisket.
And the thing is, it's like you crave smell-o-vision because you know it's going to smell absolutely amazing.
True.
Anyway.
So I mentioned the barbecue, and we all know, travelling back in time to April, which literally was only last month, but boy oh boy does it seem an eternity ago, I was able to eat at Roundup Rodeo Barbecue.
I see where you're going now, Michelle.
It literally had just opened at the beginning of April when we were able to snag I think it was 2:05 dining reservation to be able to go and enjoy. And I know I've spoken about this eatery quite a lot over the last few shows, talking about the lead up to it, going through the menu, but it is nice to see that Hollywood Studios was getting a table service restaurant because it's not really blessed with many. Obviously, you've got your high-end one, which is your Hollywood Brown Derby, and then you've got it all the way down to the character version over at Hollywood and Vine. I went to inquire and find out all about it, just purely to share with you, our lovely friends and family, on the Disney Dream Girls. So, first things first, you have to make a reservation in advance. The number of people that were wandering up when we were checking in said, "Oh, can I have a table?" It's like, guys, please, this is Disney. You know you need to make your reservations. Get the date in your phone or in a diary of when you're able to make your reservations so that you can have the pick of the best times.
Yeah, I must admit, and maybe this was a bit of a miss from me, that when it first got announced, I just thought it was going to be a glorified counter service type. It didn't look to initially that it was going to be, a table service got a book in advance. I wonder if people have got confused with it being quite a laid back sort of style, maybe? I don't know.
But the price point, Jane, should tell. At $45 per adult plus tax and gratuity and $25 per child aged 3 to 9, which is the first thing I'm going to gripe about. because there's a lot of 10-year-olds that would not eat $45 worth of food plus tax and gratuity. So it really bugs me, Disney catering this, that if you're over 9, you've got to pay full whack. That is a lot of money. I would sort of teeter that up, maybe going up to 16 as a child price, because even at $25, there's very few 15, 16-year-olds that would get the value, because bear in mind, they don't eat a lot, and it's all table service, family style eating, rather than, I'm going to order the filet mignon.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? It's a shame they can't give you the option after you get over a certain age and whether, you opt for one or the other. But I suppose with it being family style, it's a difficult one, isn't it?
True. You check in, they take your name, they either give you a pager, if you're like me, an English girl without an American cell service, or they take your mobile phone number and they give you a text when you can call back to the podium. Literally, it was so stupid doing this, because literally we turned around and they bleeped us to say it's time to check in. So we're met by a walker, basically, who walked us into the restaurant. There were those wonderful little hobby horses that you could choose to pick one up and hobby horse into your table. They are quite meant to be sort of pushed towards the kiddie winkles, but hey ho.
Yeah.
The interior, fantastic, amazing. You've seen the videos, you've seen the pictures. Again, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on certain things because we've talked about it at length before. The food, again, I've talked about it before. The homemade cheddar biscuits with sweet pepper jelly. I could literally be lounged down somewhere nice and cosy, maybe a beanbag, and have people feeding me this all day, because those cheddar biscuits, or as I'm going to say in an English girl voice, cheese scones, were amazing. So light and warm, and the sweet pepper jelly was just a perfect marriage for the two. Top tip, tell your server you would like more sweet pepper jelly and use that during the main element as well. You don't have a choice with the get your wiggle on greens section, because you're going to get a tomato salad, watermelon salad and a romaine and kale salad. If there is anyone on your table with allergies, they are able to provide salads that are catering towards your dietary requirements. So, for example, although there are no nuts in this menu, if you had a nut allergy, there might be things that you might be a little bit conscious about, so they could make sure it is prepared for you in a way that it would not have any cross-contamination. And even a Disney chef will come out and talk to you and go through all the menu. And we saw that happen to the side of us when we were there.
I mean, this is always the good thing that we've talked about with Disney, isn't it, in the respect of those allergies and dietary requirement aspects.
Yeah. Then you get your meat platter. So you've got smoked ribs, beef brisket, sausage, pork sausage, that is, by the way, barbecue chicken. Or on the plant-based option, you have got caro flour, which is basically posh cauliflower covered in some stuff which I didn't particularly take care for, walnut gremolata. Okay. Then there was an assortment of the plant-based meats of a bratwurst and a rip-roaring rib chop. Now, we did get some plant-based options just to test them out, and we weren't sold on them because obviously we're carnivores, but I suppose if you are in a group where you have some children and some adults and that one person in your life who is following a plant-based diet, it's nice to see that they can actually get an option that people have themed and thought about for you.
Yeah.
And if you eat through certain things and want more, you can ask.
Oh, nice.
There is a massive selection of sides and you can collect 4 for your table. But I'm going to be honest, you can get the whole lot.
Oh, okay.
You just have to eat it and then they'll bring you some more. My top tip, though, is the corn on the cob was covered in this. It was a vegan mayonnaise and it was the most horrible thing I had ever tasted in my life.
Oh.
And I love corn on the cob.
Right.
So we did get some of that brought back to us without the gunk.
I was going to say, as long as you can get it without, that'll be all right. Yeah.
And then the desserts, it says Chuckwagon desserts, select one per guest. Now really, one per guest? You're going to want to have the cupcake a la forte.
Okay.
Just for the Instagram.
Yes, of course, yeah.
There was a lemon and blueberry cheesecake, which was vile.
Oh, okay.
Didn't like that one at all. There was a apple pie, which had a lot of cinnamon, so you would have liked that, Jane, but the sweetness was a little bit intense.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There was a chocolate silk pie, which basically crushed up biscuits and chocolate mousse. Very edible. But our favourite was the plant-based option, was the peach strawberry pie. Now, it wasn't a pie, as me and you know, with pastry. Again, it was virtually the same sort of premise as the chocolate silk pie, with some crunched up biscuit and then strawberry and peach in a sort of very thick, syrupy, hold together liquid. And that was really good.
Right.
And as I say, we got the whole lot to test and share. And then he said, is there any you'd like more of? So we had to have another forky cupcake and a couple of other pies because we really did like it.
Oh, well, it's nice that, you say you got that chance to, have seconds, so to speak.
In with your price, fountain beverages, iced tea, and the typical kiddie-style drinks such as milk and bottled water. $45 is your price. I paid $60 by the time I'd put tax and tip on. Would I go again at that price? No.
Did you want to think about that, Michelle?
Definitely not. My answer is no. It's a one and done. For me, the food was not at a standard that I would have paid quite happily $60 for. I would have preferred to go somewhere, say, for example, Flying Fish, got a steak entree with some asparagus. That would have cost the same price, and that would have been a lot better option.
What about the whole interactiveness going on in there?
I found it quite annoying that every now and again you'd get the announcement and people were freezing or listening to see if it was a lemonade sale or something. Everybody totally bought into it, apart from those on social media, and they were like videoing everyone standing still. And it's like, it's a little bit, I don't want to be videoed, sort of walking back to the toilet freezing, because everybody, it's the convention that everyone was doing. But again, that's because I'm a very staid, laid-back British lady, and I don't like that sort of thing where I'm the entertainment. I'd rather be just there enjoying the food. If you've got young kids who are absolutely passionate about Toy Story, yes, go. But it's a big price point for me at $45.
Well, I say it's not just it's the 45 plus the tax plus the gratuity, isn't it? So like you say, you're getting close to that $60 mark, and it's got to be, as we've always say, you've got to have a good bang for your buck at that price.
Yeah, and if you go and you are a monster eater with a massive appetite, you can get your money's worth. But my teeny tiny appetite, I probably, if you would have said pay for what you actually ate, I'd be looking at about the absolute top $30 mark. Now, very interestingly, I went to 2 other barbecue places during my trip.
So there's a bit of compare and contrast then, Michelle.
Absolutely. And sadly, Trails End, over at the campgrounds at Wilderness Lodge, now sadly closed, but we managed to get one of the last ADRs there.
Oh,
it was
lovely.
$32, so with tax and tip, it was just over $40 odd. Yeah. You got the most amazing skillet cornbread with honey butter. Oh my word, it was amazing. For us in the UK who don't really have cornbread, it was like eating a really light, airy Madeira cake with lashings of butter on top.
Ooh.
It was really good. Then you got a salad, which is a very conventional salad, little bit of cheese, little bit of veggies, and then you got your platter of meats, and you had roast meats, you had some fish, fried chicken, you got sauces, bits and pieces like that. Everything was amazing. And again, as I've said, you are able to get a plant-based option at this place. It was so good. And then we went on to the dessert, and it was these tall glasses with like sundaes in them. So there was a fruity one, a chocolatey one, and then there was a third one as well, which was, I think, a lemony type cheesecake. And these were meant to be shared. Now, I don't understand how you can share this kind of plop in a cup, because it wasn't very formed. So the first person to dive in, everything else cascaded down and mixed the layers. And you didn't really have a plate to sort of scrape stuff onto the plates. But
no, I see you mean, and yeah.
For me, I would have liked a better dessert, but the value with the better meats made this and the lower price a really good option. Sadly, it's closed, and I'll come back to my theory on that. It will be reopening as a more marketplace type quick serve eatery.
Be interesting to see what, if anything, transfers over, won't it?
Yeah. For me, personally, the barbecue highlight of the trip was at the Polite Pig, and I ate there twice.
Oh, okay.
If you are not aware of this place, it is fantastic. It is just as you come down from the garage on the right-hand side. You order at a counter and then they bring the food to you. The portions are incredibly generous. Incredibly generous. Top tip, if you go and you do not order the Brussels sprouts, I will never speak to you ever again, because even someone who doesn't like Brussels sprouts will love them when they are crispy and in a whiskey caramel dressing. And at $6 you could quite easily get this and have a little bit between a few of you.
I must admit, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say they haven't liked the Brussels, and they say Brussels is kind of one of those contentious foods, isn't it? That it's a bit of a Marmite factor in it, in that you either love them or you hate them. I love them. I don't mind them at all. So I am really, really intrigued, and will be definitely next time I get over there trying some of these.
I imagine my trauma with Brussels sprouts was down to the fact that my mum would cook them and she would leave them bubbling away in a pan for an equivalent of 3.5 weeks, so that when we got them they resembled more than like a green mash rather than a crisp, tasty, succulent spherical ball of green goodness. My top tip for here is to go and get a meat selection and then some sides and share between the table, because the portions are so generous you would not be able to eat the entire thing. I ate with our lovely friend David Maruka. He had half a chicken. He couldn't clear it. It was huge, because you bear in mind you get the half chicken, then you get a jalapeno cornbread, then you get a Polite Pig slaw, and then you get the choice of one market side. It's a mighty thing. I would have suggested, if you're going with 2 or 3 people, maybe get a chicken dish, maybe get the brisket, which is amazingly good. Top, beautiful brisket, really good. Then you get a couple of sides, so you could get the definite Brussels sprouts, you could maybe get their waffle fries, their mac and cheese is another one that is particularly good as well.
Oh, okay.
Again, and this is down to me being a weird English girl, Polite baked beans with burnt ends. For us in the UK, baked beans are breakfast.
Yeah, or something you have on toast.
Yeah. So I'd say that place is a great value. It's a nice environment. If you want to have a soft beverage, you can have top-ups of that because it has its own self-serve area. There are some different sauces that you could try to enhance your barbecue option. It's brill, it's great, and I love the fact it's a quick serve. Notable other places on Walt Disney World property where you can get your fill of barbecue.
Okay.
Regal Eagle over at the America Pavilion in Epcot. Of
course, yes. Forget about that place.
I've eaten there a couple of times, Jane, and it's really good.
I always used to like it when it was the old, whatever it used to be called, just the American whatever it was. Yeah.
You can always get a seat because it's such a huge place, or you can choose to sit outside or take it elsewhere. And yeah, definite, that's a good one for me. You've got Flame Tree Barbecue. It even says it in its name, over at Animal Kingdom.
Always a go-to.
And my top tip for there, because I don't tend to eat fries because they just don't agree with me, anything on that menu that is served with fries, you can ask for just that item and it brings the price point down a few dollars. But hey, a few dollars every time will soon get you a Dole Whip.
Yeah, true.
And as you know from last week's show, Michelle loves a good Dole Whip. You've also got at Disney Springs, if you want a more formal environment, House of Blues. They are renowned for their barbecue.
Oh, not somewhere I would think of normally.
And then, going back to the Wilderness Lodge and the campgrounds, there are 2 barbecue eateries over there.
Mm-hmm.
Whispering Canyon.
Of course.
They're famous for their skillets.
Mm.
And then Hoop-de-Doo, which is kind of like a skillet and a show.
Yes.
Again, it's round about that $60, including tip and gratuity price point. So it is quite expensive, and getting over to the campgrounds can be a little bit of a challenge depending on what time of day you are trying to get there.
But you are getting entertainment thrown in with it, aren't you?
If that entertainment is up your street,
exactly,
I am sure you will absolutely enjoy it.
Oh, I think it's known that some people absolutely adore this show, and were very, very happy when it came back after its long absence.
Yeah. For us, when we decided to get there, we were able to get a bus directly to the campgrounds, and then you needed to get an internal bus to go from where the standard bus drops you off to get all the way round. But make an afternoon of it. Go and have a look at the Tri-Circle D Ranch. Have a wander around. There's a great shop there. There's like a beached area over there and an amazing children's playground, which was forever full of children.
Yeah, and when we stayed at the Wilderness Lodge, there's a running trail which we used just as a walking path to get you from Wilderness Lodge over to the campground, and that was lovely. We saw deer and everything when we went on that walk. It was a lovely walk. It wasn't overtly long, and like you say, Michelle, if you've got an afternoon or whatever that you just want to take a break from the parks, and an alternative, say, going down to Disney Springs or a water park, it's a lovely little sort of area to go and explore.
Yeah, and top tip as well, you can get a boat direct from the Magic Kingdom. So if you're in Epcot, go across on the monorail, get the boat, ding dang, job done.
Yeah, I have to say, we our very first time going over to Wilderness Lodge, not Wilderness, the campground, I should say, was way back in 1996, and we got Mickey's Backyard Barbecue that they used to do. And back in the day, I think I've shared this once before, probably on socials, they used to provide you with a map of all the different bus and boat routes, and it was one of those things where you kind of had to like go down one column and across the row and match up where you wanted to go. Not kidding you, Simon and I spent about 20 minutes trying to decipher how we were going to get from Port Orleans French Quarter to the campground. We must have gone on the most contorted route possible. Now knowing how I could get there, and I think back and I'm going, what on earth did we do? Because I think it took us about 2 hours. It was ridiculous. We had a great time, by the way, but it was ridiculous what we ended up doing. So, yeah, it's not as bad as you think, but just give yourself a bit of time.
And if you want to be a little bit more technology advised, there are websites that you can type in where you're wanting to go from, where you're wanting to get to, and they will do all the hard work for you.
Definitely.
Right. Well, this seems to be an ideal spot just to end this week's show. I hope you've enjoyed our Disney chatter. We will be continuing it over on our Patreon page, so thank you to our supporters over there. We really do appreciate the support that you give us, not just financially but emotionally, by knowing that there are people who care about the content that we create so much to put their dollars behind it. And it means that we can put the show on and keep it advert free, because there's nothing worse than all of those horrid ads. You can find us on socials. We're at Diz Dream Girls. I am still sharing all sorts of Disney content from my past trips on our Instagram page, and we're going to do a few more bits and pieces over there over the next few months as well. But until next time, it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.